Hello, talking about swimming in Morecambe again, and there's a phrase I was reading this morning. Sure, you've heard it at some point. I think it was used in the film Gladiator, where it says, "What we do in life echoes in eternity." And I guess it's saying that things you do now can sometimes have an effect or live on even when you've gone. And I think that just looking into the history of swimming in Morecambe Bay, for some people it might seem like a very small thing to be concerned with, but a lot of people who did swim here 120 years ago have left the mark somewhere. It's been recorded what they did and how they did it, and I'm reading about it now and I'm impressed by it and I'm inspired, but I think just looking into this history, or probably any history, does give you some sense of your own mortality. That you might be reading about people who came before you, who did the thing, whatever it was, and then they disappeared. And I get that sense that, one day I won't be here. I might be swimming in the bay now and doing all these exciting things, and maybe one day somebody might watch this video or read about swims me and people in our group did. You never know. Not saying that we're important, I'm just saying people will look back and say, oh, that's interesting, what were they doing? And so I think that's the good part about looking into the history of swimming in Morecambe Bay. I also think it makes you feel more connected, because when I'm swimming in the bay now, I am aware that over 100 years ago people were swimming in the exact same spots, taking the same routes. They'd figured out the same things we have: where to get tidal assistance, where you're going to get a push, where you might struggle a little bit. They had the idea of swimming across Morecambe Bay that many of us still want to do to this day, even though the channels and the sandbanks have changed and it doesn't seem possible at the moment. But we still look back at what these people did and we're inspired. And like I said, one day we will be history. So I think it pushes you as well to be a little bit brave at times, not to just... There's days when it's windy and cold and you could quite easily not get in. You could quite easily say, I'm not doing it. You could set yourself a challenge and quite easily say, well, I don't think I can do this. But these people, 120 years ago nearly, were swimming across that bay with, pardon me, no wetsuits, no goggles, tiny little boats piloting them. Nothing in terms of backup or safety equipment. Still willing to do it. And all these people who came and made Morecambe Bay into what was once called a mecca for open water swimming. They were normal working class people, most of them, people of modest means probably. They weren't Olympic athletes, although some of them produced very good, credible swimming times. They were just ordinary people. They weren't doing it for money or sponsorship or likes or anything other than the love of doing it. I think that's what comes across when you read about these people. They must have been tough, some of them, some of the conditions they swam in. With no equipment, say, none of the modern things we have now. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting thing to be part of. And that's the reason for making all these videos, to leave something behind. I think swimming, open water swimming, always seems to have peaks and troughs, a bit like waves. They go up and they come down. And I mean, in the early 1900s, people were swimming across the bay for many years in cross bay races. Then later on, an inshore group set up to do races closer to shore. All of that seemed to dry up when the fishing trade was disappearing and you couldn't get the same amount of boat pilots. And then it seemed to disappear for many years. And then I think around 2017 our group was founded, and we started swimming in the sea, which brought it back a little bit, and now it's popular again. You know, but it does seem to come and go. But I keep making the videos and talking, and I'm in the process of writing a book about the history of open water swimming in Morecambe at the moment, to leave something a bit more lasting behind. So keep watching and I'll announce when that's ready.